Launch Director, and get a first-hand look at how the countdown's been going. This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 9 minutes and holding. I'm here in the firing room with Pete Nikolenko, Assistant Launch Director. Pete, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule over there and talking to us a little bit about what's been going on in the countdown and how things are going.
All right. Thanks, Kendria. Things have been going great. Many of you have been hearing about a couple of discussions we had. We do have a small bat that's still perched on our external tank, but we had some discussion about debris transport, and we have no issues with that bat remaining in place if he elects to stay for the ride with any potential debris. Also, we had some discussions earlier about some helium purge at a orbiter external tank disconnect, and we've resolved that, increased some purge, and we're all good to go on that. And so we've got no technical issues. Weather looks great, and crew's loaded. Everybody's ready to proceed with launch. We did just select our preferred launch time, which is at 7:43 and 44 seconds. Otherwise, all is go, and everything's looking good for launch this evening.
Excellent. So everything's on schedule, and I know that you're very, very busy, so we will let you get back and get through the launch countdown. So we're looking forward to a successful launch tonight.
We all are, and with the sunset occurring here in about 20 minutes, I think we're expecting a beautiful plume when we have the launch here in just a little more than a half an hour. So thanks, Kendria.
Thanks, Pete.
OTC to station.
Go ahead.
Yes, wanted to give you 1137, HCS A, B, and Holmes conference checks complete. No anomalies noted.
Copy that.
Launch director entity. Launch director. I just passed along. The ground camera system is verified, ready to support launch. Copy.
This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 9 minutes and holding. We have just about 16 minutes left in this planned built-in hold. Launch teams are not working any issues that would delay the 7:43 p.m. launch tonight here at NASA's Kennedy Space Center.
CMTC.
As you can see on screen, this is a shot of a launch viewing area here at Kennedy Space Center, where thousands of people come to view the launches.
11:15.
Some people waving.
And that's affirm. Copy, thanks. STE entity. STE, sir. Okay, still show one item on the list.
Sir, we're working. It's back with CMTC. It's getting back to CMTC right now. They just signed off the associated paperwork. Should be coming off any minute.
Copy that, thanks.
You're welcome. Entity CMQC.
Go ahead.
Yes, all items have been removed from the constraints list.
Copy, the constraints list is clear, thank you.
Several polls are normally taken during this time to verify that the team is ready to proceed with launch. Mission Management Team Chair Mike Moses has polled the members of the management team, and they are ready to proceed with the count. NASA Test Director Steve Payne and Launch Director Mike Leinbach will also conduct polls. Right now, launch teams are not working any issues that would delay the 7:43 planned launch this evening. Space Shuttle Discovery to the International Space Station, here from NASA's Kennedy Space Center. We're at T-minus 9 minutes and holding. When the count resumes, the ground launch sequencer will be in control of all critical operations. The master computer program will issue all of the commands necessary to perform the final critical tasks required to put the shuttle in a final launch configuration. The ground launch sequencer monitors about 1,000 different critical orbiter functions during the final 9 minutes of the count to make certain they don't fall out of limit.
OTC PBD. So 1118 is not performed, and I can give you 1121. Copy.
CISL, JRPS, in Houston flight. Perform the L-15 recorder activation. ISL.
ISO copies, recorder activation and work.
Copy. RFPS.
JRPS and work.
Flight. Houston flight entity. Houston flight entity.
Entity Houston flight, go ahead.
Okay, we just kicked off recorder activation.
Roger that.
MS1 OTC.
OTC, go ahead.
Activate the V10 recorder.
OTC, MS1, V10, recorder activation didn't work.
Attention on the net. This is the NTD conducting the launch status checks. All stations verify ready to resume count and go for launch. OTC,
OTC is go.
TBC,
TBC go.
PTC,
PTC is go.
LPS,
LPS is go.
Houston flight,
Houston flight is go.
MILA,
Mila is go.
STM, STM is go. Safety console,
Safety consoles go.
SPE,
SP is go.
LRD, LRD is go. SRO,
SRO is go. You have range clear to launch.
and CDR.
CDR is go.
Launch director NTD,
Launch director.
launch team is ready to proceed.
Copy that, Steve. Thank you. I'll do my poll at this time. KC Chief Processing Engineer, verify no constraints to launch. No constraints. Thank you, Steve. KC Safety Mission Assurance.
KC Safety and Mission Assurance is go, Mike.
Very good, Mark. Payload Launch Manager.
Mike, we'll go to launch S6. Thank you.
Copy, Bill. Range weather.
Winds are 150, 14 peak 19. Weather has no constraints for launch.
Copy, Kathy. Thank you. And Ops Manager.
Launch Director, Ops Manager of 212. The MMT isn't tracking any issues. We look real good. You're go to launch.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Discovery Launch Director.
Launch director, go ahead for discovery.
Okay, Brew. Well, you had a little bit of a wait, but that'll just make the payoff that much sweeter. So on behalf of the KC launch and processing teams, good luck and Godspeed.
Thanks, Mike, and congratulations to you and the entire team for getting Discovery ready for the 36th mission. And, you know, it's truly an honor to be part of this team, representing all of NASA, our nation, and the international partners. Thanks for the work, Mike. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Take care, and let's go ahead and fire up the Zone of Freedom.
Copy that, Brew. Thank you very much. NTD, with that, you are clear to launch Discovery.
Copy, clear to launch. Thank you.
This is Shuttle Launch Control at T-minus 9 minutes and holding. As you heard, NASA Test Director Steve Payne and Launch Director Mike Leinbach completed their polls and confirmed with Discovery Shuttle Commander Lee Archambault that everyone is ready and just awaiting the countdown to begin again before we launch Discovery to the International Space Station tonight. Scheduled for 7:43 p.m. Eastern here at NASA's Kennedy Space Center.
Attention on the net. The countdown clock will resume in 2 minutes.
NASA Test Director Steve Payne has verified we're ready to come out of this hold in about 2 minutes and proceed with the countdown to launch Discovery.
NTD ISL, record activation complete.
Copy complete. The countdown clock will start in 1 minute.
We're just a few seconds away from resuming the countdown for the launch of Space Shuttle Discovery today. Countdown clock will start in 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're at T-minus 9 minutes and counting.
GLS auto sequence has been initiated.
And the ground link launch sequencer has been initiated.
PLT, OTC, connect essential buses to fuel cells per your checklist.
OTC, PLT, that's in work.
The orbiter test conductors just requested that Houston send stored program command that will make the orbiter compatible with the downrange tracking stations.
OTC, PLT, essential buses connected to fuel cell.
Copy.
GLS is go for orbiter access arm retract.
Discovery, OTC, best wishes as you bring ISS to full power. Enjoy the ride tonight.
The orbiter access arm is now being retracted away from the vehicle. And this is the walkway used by the crew to gain entry into and out of Discovery. It can be returned to position within seconds if necessary. T-minus 6 minutes, 30 seconds and counting.
OTC, start APU display recorders.
Recorder's running.
PLT, OTC, perform APU pre-start.
OTC, APU pre-starts in work.
The orbiter test conductor has given pilot Tony Antonelli the go-ahead to perform the auxiliary power unit pre-start procedure.
OTC, PLT, APU pre-start complete.
Copy.
Tony Antonelli reports that the pre-start of the auxiliary power units is complete. APU activation will come in just a few seconds.
go for orbiter APU start.
PLT, OTC, perform APU start.
APU starts inward.
CDR, OTC, reconfigure heaters.
We have a go for APU start.
OTC, PLT, APU start, and heater reconfig complete.
Copy.
TLS is go for purge sequence 4.
The launch team has terminated liquid oxygen replenish to the external tank and is now initializing LOX drain back. T-minus 3 minutes, 14 seconds and counting.
TLS is go for ET LO2 pressurization.
Final pressurization of the external tank's liquid oxygen tank is underway.
PLT, clear caution and warning memory. Verify no unexpected errors.
That's inward. OTC, caution warning clear, no unexpected errors.
Copy. And Discovery, close and lock your visors and initiate O2 flow.
That's inward.
The gaseous oxygen vent hood is slowly being retracted away from the top of the external tank.
TLS is go for ET LH2 pressurization.
Liquid hydrogen replenish on the external tank is now being terminated. T-minus 1 minute, 30 seconds. T-minus 1 minute and counting.
TLS is go for auto sequence start.
25.
And we have a go for auto sequence start. Discovery's onboard computers have primary control of all the vehicle's critical functions.
15.
12, 10,
TLS is go for main engine start.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And booster ignition and liftoff of Space Shuttle Discovery, taking the space station to full power for full science.
This is Mission Control Houston.
Discovery roll program.
Roger, roll, Discovery.
Discovery's roll maneuver is complete. It is now in a heads-down position on track for its flight to the International Space Station. Discovery flying 365 miles per hour, 1.5 miles in altitude, 7 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center. Discovery's engines are throttling down as the orbiter passes through the area of maximum pressure on the vehicle.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
3 main engines on board are throttling back up. Now 1 minute, 12 seconds into the flight, Discovery flying at 1,800 miles per hour, 10 miles in altitude, and 11.5 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center. At liftoff, the fully fueled shuttle, boosters, and external tank weighed 4.5 million pounds. The total thrust at launch was 6,425,000 pounds. All systems continue to function well. 3 good main engines, 3 good power generating fuel cells, and 3 good auxiliary power units for the hydraulic system. We will now stand by for burnout and separation of the solid rocket boosters. Combined, the twin boosters provide 5.3 million pounds of thrust to propel the orbiter toward space. Discovery now flying 3,600 miles per hour, 32 miles in altitude, 43 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center.
Discovery, 2-engine TAL.
2-engine TAL.
Discovery can reach a transoceanic abort landing in the event of a single engine failure. However, all 3 main engines are still operating well. Discovery now flying at 4,300 miles per hour, 48 miles in altitude, and 83 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center. Now 3 minutes and 37 seconds into the flight, Discovery continuing on its path to orbit, flying at 5,000 miles per hour, 56 miles in altitude, and 127 miles downrange.
Discovery, negative return.
Discovery copies, negative return.
Discovery is now flying too high and too fast to return to the Kennedy Space Center and the Space Shuttle landing facility in the event of an engine failure. 4 minutes, 15 seconds into the flight, Discovery flying at 6,000 miles per hour, 62 miles in altitude, and 177 miles downrange. Four minutes, 50 seconds into the flight, Discovery continuing on path, flying at 7,000 miles per hour, 65 miles in altitude, and 235 miles downrange.
Discovery, press to ATO.
Discovery, press to ATO.
5 minutes 26 seconds into the flight, Discovery can reach a lower than planned but a safe orbit on 2 engines should one fail. However, all 3 engines are still performing well.
Discovery, single engine ops 3.
Single engine, ops 3.
Discovery could conduct a transatlantic abort landing on 1 engine should 2 fail at this point. Discovery flying at 9,000 miles per hour. Discovery's engines have been commanded to swivel to put the orbiter in the proper heads-up position.
Single engine Zaragoza 104.
Single engine Zaragoza 104.
Discovery can reach Zaragoza on 1 engine should 2 fail at this point.
Discovery, press to MECO.
Press to MECO.
Discovery can reach the planned orbit on 2 engines. All 3 engines continue to operate well. Six minutes 40 seconds into the flight, Discovery flying at 11,000 miles per hour, 66 miles in altitude.
Your shutdown plan is nominal. Go for the plus X, no go the pitch.
Discovery, nominal shutdown. Go for the plus X, no go for the pitch.
Discovery, single engine press 104. Good readback.
Single engine press 104.
Discovery can reach its planned orbit on 1 engine should 2 fail. However, all 3 still performing well at 104%. Seven minutes 35 seconds into the flight, the engines are now throttling down to maintain structural limits on the orbiter as it approaches loads near 3 times gravity. Discovery flying at 14,800 miles per hour, 64 miles in altitude, and 700 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center. Main engine cutoff is confirmed.
Discovery, Houston, nominal MECO, OMS 1 not required.
Copy that. OMS 1 not required.
And external tank separation is confirmed. Now 8 minutes 57 seconds into the flight, Discovery in orbit, flying at 17,500 miles per hour. Onboard Discovery, Commander Lee Archambault in the commander's seat, the left front seat. To his right, pilot Tony Antonelli. Seated between them and behind them is flight engineer Steve Swanson. To his right, mission specialist Joe Akaba. Down on the middeck are mission specialist Ricky Arnold next to the hatch. On the opposite side is mission specialist John Phillips, and between them is space station flight engineer Koichi Wakata on his way to the International Space Station.
checklist page 3-2.
Discovery, Brew, we are following along with you, 3-2.
The crew on board the Space Shuttle Discovery now setting up for the on-orbit operations. The first orbital maneuvering system engine burn, called the OMS-1, not necessary as Discovery has reached its planned orbit. The OMS-2 burn to more circularize the orbit of Discovery is scheduled for 27 minutes from now. We're now inside the Space Shuttle Flight Control Room where the team is monitoring the Space Shuttle Discovery and her systems. The team will follow along with the activities of the crew on board, going through the post-insertion checklist after Discovery has reached orbit. This is a graphical depiction of the Space Shuttle Discovery in orbit, the team monitoring its flight. Now 12 minutes and 46 seconds into the flight, Discovery traveling across the Atlantic Ocean.
Houston, Discovery, we showed the dump complete and closing the MTS TVCs inlet.
Tony, understand you're ready for the MPS TVC ice holes. We are following you, and you do sound a little muddled.
Okay, you copied correct, and I'll make sure to speak up.
Okay, Tony, loud and clear on that last transmission.
Next on NASA television, we'll be airing replays of Discovery's launch from the Kennedy Space Center and be back here to Mission Control to monitor Discovery's flight, now 13 minutes and 55 seconds into STS-119.
Discovery Houston, we're ready for APU hide shutdown when you are. Your preliminary OMS-2 TIG 37:30.
Houston, Discovery copies. You are ready for the APU hide shutdown. Preliminary TIG 3730. And Tony has completed the MPS TBC ISO valve procedure.
Discovery, we copy. Brew, when you're ready, I've got your only delta to page 3-4.
Okay, Houston, ready to take that delta this time.
Tail only control not required.
Copy. Tail only control not required. All else as written on 3-4.
Good copy, Discovery.
Houston, Discovery from the mid-deck, com check.
Discovery Houston, loud and clear.
Roger, loud and clear. We're up speaker mic.
Discovery Houston, no response required. We will go through spreading in 2 minutes. We will be able to hear you.
Houston, Discovery for the page 3-4 of the checklist. We've got everything complete, and we're ready to give you Ops 105.
Discovery, we are ready for Ops 105. Discovery Houston with a modification to your OMS 2 TIG. That new time is 38:30, and we're ready for you to load targets.
Okay, we copy Houston that the new OMS 2 TIG is 38:30, and you're ready to load them.
That's a good copy, Discovery. Discovery Houston, we show a 4-minute maneuver. On page 3-6, we'll take MPS ISOL as written, as well as the GH2 inerting, and the MPS power down will take on time.
Houston, Discovery copies a 4-minute maneuver. We're with you on 3-6. Tony's going to start the MPS ISO, the GH2 inerting, and he'll give you the MPS power down on time.
Good copy, Discovery.
3-6 is complete. We're moving over to 3-7, and Tony's going to get the ET umbilical doors at this time if you're ready.
Discovery will take that as written.
That's in work.
This is Mission Control Houston, 28 minutes into the flight of the Space Shuttle Discovery for STS-119. The crew on board continuing through procedures to set up for the on-orbit operations. They are working through the post-insertion checklist and coordinating those activities with Mission Control. They have activated the flash evaporator system and heaters to help with cooling of the orbiter and systems until the payload bay doors are opened. They have set up for the orbital maneuvering system engine 2 burn to help circularize the orbit of Discovery, which is scheduled to take place in less than 10 minutes. And the crew is also working on closing the external tank umbilical door.
Houston Discovery for the timeline.
Discovery Houston, go ahead, Brew.
Yes, Embo, we're on page 3-8. We're going to stand by just for a second on the 08 switch throws, but in the meantime, I'm going to give you the maneuver at this time if you're ready.
We're ready for that, Brew. Sounds like a great plan. Discovery Houston, we are about 2 minutes to a handover.
Discovery copies.
Discovery Houston, we see you in a good config for the burn.
Discovery, good config for the burn.
This is Mission Control Houston. In about a minute and a half, Discovery's orbital maneuvering system engines, the twin rockets, will be used to circularize Discovery's orbit to that of 142 by 98 statute miles. The burn will be about a minute long. propulsion officer here in Mission Control reports that both of the engines are burning and all is working well for this OMS 2 burn.
Discovery Houston, good burn. No further trim required.
Discovery copies. No further trim required.
Discovery's crew has completed the orbital maneuvering system engines burn to circularize Discovery's orbit. The crew then will work through procedures to reconfigure systems and the cabin for the on-orbit operations following Discovery's ascent this evening. Now 40 minutes into the flight.
Houston, Discovery kicking off the gimbal checks.
Discovery Brew, thank you. We are watching.
Houston, Discovery, the gimbal check is complete, and Tony's working on the old RCS post-burn reconfig.
Discovery Houston copies. We're following along. No deltas to the OMS RCS post-burn reconfig, and we'll be ready for Ops 106 when you get there.
Okay, Zemo, thanks. As written on 5-2, and then Ops 106 when we get there. Appreciate it.
Good copy.
Houston, Discovery.
Go ahead, Discovery.
Hey, Zambo, while we're finishing up the pages 5-2 and 5-3, Joe would like to put in work block 3 for the post-insertion procedure.
Crew, we're ready for block 3 and post-insertion.
That's in work, thank you.
This is Mission Control Houston, now 45 minutes into the STS-119 mission, a 13-day mission to the International Space Station. The crew on board Discovery is setting up for the on-orbit operations en route to the station now, with the docking scheduled for Tuesday afternoon, just after 4 p.m. Central Time.
Houston, Discovery from the mid-deck, ready to put Block 2 in work.
Discovery Houston, we copy. Block 2 is in work. We'll watch.